and we're still on the protest. But on this side this morning, we're talking about
Campaign for peaceful
protest in Lagos as the commercial nerve of the country. We shouldn't, I don't think we should, but even if you have to, do it with decorum, do it with, common sense. They all say it is common, but we don't know how common it is. I'll take you back to what happened in 2020 during the EndSARS protest, where a lot of businesses and organizations were vandalized, looted. Talk about the BRT buses, talk about the Oba of Lagos Palace, talk about
banks were vandalized, private businesses. There was a lot of loss.
Yes. So if you say you're fighting government and people like you and I are still suffering by losing, sums of money for their businesses, it's just like going back to what's it called? Ground zero. So in Lagos, we are campaigning, for peaceful protest, even if it has to hold. And we have two gentlemen here who are coming to talk about, the protest. We have Aliyu Muhammad Olurotimi, editor, Defunct Concord newspaper. He's a friend. He's a friend of the house. You're welcome.
Good morning.
And we also have another friend, Nelson Ekujimi. He's Executive Director, Center for Social and Economic Rights. You're welcome.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Okay, having done the introduction, I'm afraid for Lagos. I'm afraid for Lagos because, all eyes and, it seems like Lagos is usually the target, for these protests. They suffer more. So how can we just, engage or advise this protest organizers, faceless protest organizers, to please, to not be violent about the whole protest?
Well, we have no other option than to continue to use the public space that they have been using to send out their messages. And if you look at the tone of some of their messages, it is very, very uncivil. People writing, "will shut down Lagos." And I'm like, Apa, you should recognize that this is a country that operates by law. And the law gives everybody the fundamental right to either participate or not. The right that you have to participate is also the right that the other man has not to participate. So you can't say because you have grievances, you want to go on a protest, then you infringe on the rights of other citizens. That would amount to violations of the laws of the land. So, like we are here, we have seen situations where groups, traditional rulers, elder statesmen, people coming out and admonishing them. And until lately, like you have rightly said, the organizers were absolutely faceless. You didn't know them, they did. And I'm like, this is the first time, because as I'm sitting there, I am a product of protest. And you know very well that when we want to have a protest, we'll come out boldly.
Even Mr. President
yes,
said so.
Yes. And we'll make our demands and we'll announce the dates. So we don't go underground because we want. So when people resort to such method, it's a cause for worry. That do you have any other motive apart from what you are claiming? Because we've seen several demands, and some of them are ludicrous.
Yes, talking about these demands, I have them here. Some are saying, revert petrol pump price to 100 naira per litre. Combat insecurity and hunger, of course. Close all IDP camps and resettle the campers. I don't know, implementation of living wage, minimum of 300K, compulsory free education from primary to secondary. The list is endless.
Well, if you look at the demands from these so-called protesters, They are ludicrous. These are things that are not achievable.
Yeah, wishful thinking.
Yes. How can you, the pump price of petrol as at today is about 700 naira, and you are asking the government to bring it back to 200 naira. You are not looking at the economic effects of such action. You are not looking at the aspect of 300,000 naira minimum
living wage, minimum of 300,000.
It sounds so crazy. You are not looking at the inflation that will follow that kind of policy. If you look at the demands, it shows that those who are making these demands are not educated. I am telling you, I was privileged to be around Agege yesterday, and I heard them talking about Ahmad Daduru, we do this, and I just
I heard
said,
such comments too this morning.
These are the people we are talking about. You see, if you look at what happened,
they're just following the bandwagon.
what happened during EndSARS, it started quietly, peacefully, day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, and it went so hurry. Subsequently, the police, the soldiers had to come out, even to protect some of them on the Lekki roads, until they decided to start burning private properties, government properties, buses. Over 200 buses were burnt in Lagos. I doubt if the state government has been able to replace them till today. And here we are talking about, yes, you have the right to protest, but you don't have the right to stop me from going out if I'm not joining that protest, like Nelson said. You don't have the right to attack where I earn a living. This is the issue here. Lagos is the commercial nerve center of the country. If you destroy things here, you are virtually destroying the country. For instance, during EndSARS, they went to the headquarters of the Nigerian Port Authority, destroyed cars, burnt houses there. What sense did that make? How does burning a house and cars, how is it related to the demands you are making? Whatever demands you are making, you don't have to kill people. You don't have to destroy the business of government and individuals. Go in some parts of Surulere, shops were looted. The shop right there was looted to the ground. To me, that is nonsense. This time around, nobody is saying that people shouldn't demonstrate. It is our right to demonstrate. It is our right to say what we don't want in the system. But we don't have the right to go violent in this.
Even the Lagos government
so
has. Okay.
The only way we can protect violence is for security men to come out. They have their own part of this responsibility too. Don't be aggressive. I like the way the Commissioner of Police in Lagos, the present one, there was a protest in Lagos some time ago.
The NLC protest?
Yes, he gave them water
and biscuits.
And biscuits.
Yeah.
You know, that alone disarmed the protesters, and it made them to be cautious of what they were doing. There was no violence. It was peaceful. Nobody was arrested. I am pleading that we should have that kind of approach from August 1. Be friendly with them. However, if there is need to curb violence, they shouldn't hesitate to do it.
But in a situation where some of the protesters, go as far as attacking, the security personnel such as the police, how can that be managed?
Well, you should know, we all know that the police is a trained institution. And part of their training is to curb attacks, not only on security operatives, but also on innocent citizens. Their primary responsibility is to maintain law and order. And if you go against that as a person or as a group, the Nigerian police, when you look at the performance of the Nigerian police, both locally and internationally, you know that this is a global institution. And when you are talking about quality output, the Nigerian police has never been found wanting. So if anybody in the exercise of his fundamental rights attacks a policeman, he will not only be attacking his citizen, he will also be attacking the law. And you know, when you attack the law will take its course. You were talking about the 2020 protest, because when this protest call started resonating in the public space, it was like a rehash of the 2020 EndSARS protest. You can see that this one also has a hashtag. And I want to inform us all that just like in 2020, in which some of us saw the political undertone in the protest by people who lost the 2019 general elections, same thing is happening now in 2024. If you look at some of the organizers, they are people who are aligned with one political party or candidate in the 2023 general elections. And since their candidate lost, they have determined that we will not know peace. But they can be rest assured that we have the law on our side, and that we will invoke the law against them if they go contrary. This protest from all parameters, if anybody, because we've seen several demands, and you don't even know whether they are genuine or not. You talk about the minimum wage, for example. We are a country governed by laws. Under the law of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, there are parties that can discuss minimum wage, which is the government, the organized private sector, and the organized labor. And the government and the labor, those who are permitted by law to talk about an issue, they have already agreed, sealed, signed, and delivered. Everybody is going on peacefully. You that is not a party to that agreement, you are now making it your own personal
demands.
But it tells you clearly that these people, I don't know the interest they have, but in my thinking, I don't think they are fighting for the interests of the Nigerian people.
You said something earlier that you are a product of protest.
Absolutely.
Okay. Can you take us back memory lane? How your group, or how you used to organize protest, and how peaceful was it?
Well, it's like we are discussing. Organizing a protest is not a tea party. Don't forget, when you want to organize a protest, you announce, then you put in place measures to ensure that you have a peaceful protest by setting up committees. And when we want to have a protest, people are assigned to mobilize people from their various constituencies. And the greatest danger in mobilization is that if you mobilize anybody to a protest, and if anything happens, you'll be held responsible. So you are very careful. If you know that this man is sick, but he wants to partake in the protest, you tell him, please don't come. Because if anything happens to you now, your wife and your children and your family will come after me. And there's no way I can exonerate myself. Then also, when you're organizing a protest, it has become traditional for our people to assume that the right to protest is absolute. And for me, it's not. Because we are talking about peace. Even if you are organizing a protest, which we know is the constitutional right, the police also have a right. They can abort the process if they realize, or if they have information that there's likely to be a breakdown of law and order. If the police even have information that you as a protester, you could be attacked or you could come into harm, the police can go there, abort the protest, and rescue you. We have seen it happen severally. So when you are organizing a protest, for example, we've had several protests from Ikeja to the government office. Lo and behold, we'll be on a procession. Within 30 meters from the start point, you see some of the people in the protest procession, that woman selling gala. If they call you to come that they want to buy gala, you just see people taking the one, and we'll be like, we didn't call you to come and steal here. So we have to intervene. So that is how dangerous it is to manage a large gathering of human beings. Some of the persons you have invited into that protest have their own ulterior motive, different from yours.
Yes, yeah.
That is why at times when people badmouth the labor unions, when they call off protests, I tell them that you don't know what goes into organizing a protest. It's about human lives. Some of the persons you have invited could be walking and they could collapse and die. It's possible. So you look at every parameters that will make for and when you are able to organize your protest and you get to your destination and you table your demand and you get home peacefully with all your entourage and you listen to reports, because even some of the protesters at times, they could be coming in a vehicle and they could be involved in accidents. Those are the dangers. They could be in a procession going on that protest. There could be a driver or an automobile sort of that could maybe the brake, the brake malfunctioned. It could ram into you guys. So organizing a protest is a serious business, but it's doable to organize a peaceful one. And organizing a peaceful one involves the collaboration of even the security agencies, because the last protest we saw the security operatives behind the protesters to prevent people coming in, whether they want to attack them or they want to cause harm somewhere. So we expect that this proposed protest, if eventually it holds, because we know only today, we don't know what will happen tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's only God that knows that. That they will ensure that the rights of every Nigerian is respected. The protester's right must be respected. The ordinary man who is going about his lawful business right must also be respected.
So from what you said, it shows that when there is a leadership, you can control things. But this that is before us, it's faceless. We don't know who the leaders are. So who are those that are presenting their cases? That's one question. And my second question is, aside from protesting, what other ways are there to, take out your grievances against the government?
You've just said it, that those who are planning these protests are faceless. You can only discuss with people that you know, with genuine,
come out to take responsibility.
Yes, they are ready to sit with government representatives and discuss their grievances word for word, paragraph for paragraph. But these people, you don't know them. I saw a young man addressing a press conference online, threatening to bring out over 10,000 people to protest in Lagos, and that if 300,000 is not paid, they won't stop the protest. You can see how unrealistic their demands are. And this person, unlike the people we know who are activists, including himself, they are not known. So it makes everything so difficult. I am a member of the police community relations committee. We attended a meeting on Saturday, and the chairman specifically pointed at me because he knows that I'm a journalist and all. I said, look, have you been able to track some of these people? The police PRO was present. And I said, no. The police PRO himself said that they have been trying to get to some of them with the aim of ensuring that they have a peaceful protest. So it is wrong for them to start threatening the police right from now. The police are looking for them, not for the purpose of arresting them, but to ensure that they collaborate, and if there is going to be a protest at all, it should be peaceful. It shouldn't be violent. This is it. But you see, I have a fear. The person you don't know, the person you have not seen, can come up with any surprise. So the security agents too should be prepared for any eventuality. I want to appeal to them to be strategic, go out first, hoping that you will meet peaceful people as much as possible, move with the crowd, observe their actions, If they are peaceful, there is no need for the police to apply any force on them, except violence comes in the protest. And you see, some protesters, like the ones we know, just like Nelson said, you have your purpose for the protest, but in the process, some people will join, whose aim is different from yours. Those are the ones that you see looting shops, stealing things during the protest. And we must ensure that if this protest is going to be a peaceful one, they must ensure that thugs and miscreants do not join them along the way. We need peace. You are saying that you want the president to do this, you want the president to do that. Labour, who have the right to negotiate with the president, and the other government representatives, they have met and said this is acceptable to us. What is your own now that you want 300 naira, 300,000 naira? Are you a government employee? No. Also, you from those demands, you know clearly that these people want crisis. They have another agenda. Like he said, I don't want to believe that some of those who lost elections are behind this. But if it is true, then what they are doing is not right. You are not patriotic. If because you lost an election, the nation must burn. So if you burn the nation, where are you going to rule? Where are you coming to govern? Who are you going to rule? Are you going to rule dead people? So they must, whoever, any big politician, either presidential aspirant that failed and others who are behind it, should sit down and have a rethink. Nigeria must exist. Nigeria must survive if you want to govern. That is it. The president came in 1 year ago, and you are asking him to do things that will take him up to 2-3 years to do. He's not a magician.
There's a process.
There is a process for all these things. Yes, things are tight, things are hard.
Things are hard.
Everybody,
things are hard. We must be realistic.
Everybody is affected. Everybody is affected. No matter how rich you are.
Let me quickly chip in. Sorry, sir, I'm interrupting you. I said it has political undertone. A particular party presidential candidate in the last election, some person says outside the country, go to his page. He's inciting. He's calling for revolution. Some of us have asked, if you want to be a politician, be a politician. If you want to be an activist, be an activist. You can't be a politician and an activist at the same time. You can't be double-faced. So that is to confirm to you the political undertones. There are some other interests there. Yeah. You all know this particular. Anytime when he lost in the 2019 election, it was the same. He lost in the 2023 general election. It was immediately loses the election. He will come. He want to join this side of the divide. That no, we no go agree. And some of us, like I told some of my colleagues, that look, activism is not zombieism. When
you don't follow blindly,
you don't follow blindly. You don't. And they have this. Some of my colleagues have this attitude of, if you don't follow their line of thought, then you have so that. And I've told them, and like some of our people have also told them, look, my father sent me to school to become a better being, making use of my number 6. In my house, when I was growing up, when my father takes decisions, I ask. Even as my father, the person who brought me to ask. Today, I'm a parent. My children are also doing the same to me. Daddy, why do you say we should go this way? Why?
And you have to give.
I have to give reasons. Yes. Because you know, if you don't carry them along, you're on your own. They will just, if you want to use force as a parent, they will just follow you grudgingly. But you yourself, you realize it within your spirit
that they are not happy.
That they are not happy with you.
Yes.
So aside protest, you're an activist. What other best ways are there to address grievances?
There are several ways. And like I told you, before we embark on a protest, when we do embark on protest, we announce our series of engagements. We prefer solutions to the problems. And we make our demands within the ambits of the law, knowing fully well what can be done. So, and even when we have protested, we still are going to engage in discussion. Dialogue. You can see that even before now, a lot of people have been calling on the protesters that they should dialogue with the government, that they should give peace a chance. And sadly for me, when we're talking about the protests, people are always talking as if we have just one government in Nigeria. That is absolutely wrong. We have a federal government, we have 36 state governments, we have 774 local governments. Yes. Like she has rightly said, we all know the challenges we are passing through. These are challenges which we have seen the government making concerted efforts to address. The economic challenges we are passing through does not know status. Exactly. Whether you are a rich man or a poor man, everybody is affected. But like we all know, all fingers are not equal. But everybody is feeling the pinch. But we are all optimistic that looking at government activities, interrogating it, for example, when the government wanted to commence the implementation of the student loan scheme, you saw that some Nigerians saw some loopholes in that scheme. And they pointed it out. The government went back into the government suspended the takeoff point, went to the drawing board, rejigged the process, and they came out with it, and everybody said, okay, this is better. So that is what any responsible citizen or group should do. Engage government construct. Because today, if you go on Ikorodu Road, around Onipan and Fadeyi, you need to see the crowd of our people waiting at the BRT terminal. If those 200 plus buses were not burnt, we are still bearing the brunt of the 2020 protest of destruction. Our people are suffering. The resources that could have been used to provide for other things are now going to be used to replace those vehicles. And also, when we engage in protest other than a peaceful one, we are telling investors that our environment is not conducive. If I'm a businessman, I won't take my business to where I know at the latest tip of the finger, everything I've labored for can just be turned into ashes. So we must appeal to these so-called protesters, whom we don't know, of which some are just coming out of their hiding place, that please, you have a right to protest, but please make it peaceful and respect the right of those who are not part of your protest. The right that you have to protest is the same right that I have not to be a part of your protest. It's a fundamental right.
Okay, the Lagos State government has given its terms. You know, okay, we cannot stop you from protesting, but these are our own terms. No road must be blocked during your protest. No single BRT lanes, rail tracks or airport road should be blocked. Then
no single government institution in Lagos State should be touched. Enjoy your protest,
I like that last one.
And let the rest of Lagosians enjoy their rights.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So now, before I answer that question, people keep complaining about tough economic situation. It is not peculiar to Nigeria alone. We have it in Britain.
Yes.
I have
a
younger brother in Britain who called and said, look, the prices have gone up. Even mortgage. The cost of taking a loan now has tripled. What we are going through is not new to developed nations. India went through it. Even China, that is one of the great countries in the world today, have gone through it. But once you have a focused and forthright leader, we will all come out of it.
I'm happy you said that because, you know, we know that this hunger, high cost of living is a global issue. But the body language and lifestyles of some of our leaders, you know, doesn't match what they tell us. And I'm sure this is one of the reasons why the youth especially are agitated.
I agree with you. But you see, let us talk about a few things that have happened in the past. Some of us Nigerians are causing a lot of problems than what the government is doing. The president released how many bags of rice? Trucks of rice.
No, severally.
To be given to states. Do you know that some state governments sold those bags of rice to people and were rebagging them? Is that a problem of the federal government? We have fuel scarcity today. All the petrol stations have decided to increase. I bought 1,000 naira per litre yesterday.
Here in Lagos?
Here in Lagos.
About 800 on Saturday.
800. As at this morning, I sent somebody out so that we have fuel to power the generator. There has not been light in the entire Ikeja axis for 5 days.
So, can I give an information on that? The Ikeja Disco said their facilities is undergoing rehabilitation. They put out that message since last week.
That is fine.
You'll be out of power supply for a week.
Okay.
That is fine. But you see, some of the things we citizens do makes the situation so very bad. Some of us Nigerians have become our own enemies. Somebody is selling pepper, 1 or 2 pieces for 1,000 naira. Why would that be? The president have his own responsibility to ensure that we have good life. But we must not complicate the situation by making things difficult for ourselves. Government said, take rice, distribute to people free. A state government sold it out, and they were rebagging it. You can see the damage they are doing underground. Nigerians must be transparent in all they are doing. Bola Tinubu will not come from Abuja to Alimosho local government to monitor the distribution of rice. Tinubu will not go to Edo State to monitor. He has released it. The governors and the local government chairmen should be honest enough to ensure that these things get to the people.
When you say honest enough, what exactly? Or how should they engage, the people in the grassroots that we're talking about, constructively, so we don't have such calls for protest, burn down Lagos, burn down Nigeria.
Lagos State government has been doing that for about a week now. Meeting people at the local government level, engaging
57
them.
council authorities have been engaging community
all the
members.
local government chairmen have been doing that. Even Ikeja, it was held, I think, on Thursday. That is good enough. But then, it doesn't mean that the police and those who are responsible for the safety of citizens, for the safety of government property, should not be at alert. Because, like he said, these people have their aims to burn down the country. If you burn down the country, which country are you coming to rule? If you burn it down today, which country are you coming to rule? That is the truth of the matter. Now you talked about Lagos State government rolling out some rules. Very well. If they will obey these rules, we won't have any problem. That is the issue. People will not obey because they have their hidden agenda to ensure that the country becomes ungovernable.
And they will go back to...
And they will go back
to square one.
So those countries where they always run to at the end of every election. You understand? Because all these people, some of us don't have 2 countries. They have 2 passports. Nigerian, American passport. I have only Nigerian passport. And we must struggle to ensure that there is peace in this country. By all means, there must be peace. All these threats of violence will not help this country. It won't even help them.
Just for our information, the Nigerian Police Plateau State Command arrested one Nigerian who went on TikTok and was inciting that they should attack policemen, attack army barracks, burn down houses, burn down petrol stations. So the guy has been arrested, and I hope the police will ensure that he have his day in court.
He dances to the music that he has been playing.
Yes, absolutely.
A lot of people are concerned about their safety, people like me, you know.
They have to come to work on that day, on those days. How much? Go on.
So how do we build trust, you know, and ensure that people are safe enough to come out, because a lot of people are concerned about their businesses, you know.
Well, I believe strongly that since this proposed protest has been in the public space, that the government and the security agencies are not sleeping over it.
They've been tightening.
They have been working around the clock. You have seen the police commissioner, even here in Lagos. I saw a video where he went to address the community in Ikorodu, you know, town hall meeting. And the IGP of police has also been talking. The National Security Advisor, even President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has also been talking. So that tells you clearly that they are not taking the security of life and property lightly. They know that is the raison d'etre of any government. So you can be rest assured that because of these threats, that the Nigerian police will be fully on ground. And I'm sure within the next couple of hours, they will release hotlines for citizens, because this is about our state, our country. So we all have a collective responsibility to ensure there is peace. I want to take offense to Mr. Liu comment earlier on, where he said hoodlums and thug. I don't know of anybody called a hoodlum or a thug. Nobody is by name a hoodlum. He's a Nigerian. So if he feels, if that man we are calling a hoodlum feels like joining the protest and he conforms to the law,
so be it.
So be it.
But if he wants to violate the law by assaulting our constitution, then he will face the music. So I don't believe in calling, because a lot of times when people would protest and it goes south, they say, well, hoodlums hijacked it. And I ask, how can we differentiate you from the so-called hoodlum? Maybe the hoodlum has 4 years.
Or 2 heads.
Or 2 heads. Because if you are organizing a protest and you cannot guarantee the peacefulness of that protest, it is your own interest to call it off. I told you I'm a product of protest. We have had protests that when we started, when we saw faces that we didn't invite to be part of the protest, we became afraid for the life of the protesters as well as the peace of the environment. So we quickly called it off. Like we say in Yoruba, because if you have volunteered to lead a protest that we are the organizers, it means the good and bad, you'll be held responsible for it. So when you see what we call a breach of public peace, knowing that we are a country governed by law and not a banana republic, it will be in your own interest to quickly call it off and not to endanger other lives. Because if you endanger other lives, you'll be answerable to. I just told you now, when people come with me from my community, if I don't take them home, my heart will be here. Because if anything happens, the family will come after you. Why did the wife will come and tell you, why did you take my husband to go and bring my husband? You won't sleep. And even your wife will tell you, yes, because if they are taking you the way they took him, that's what I will also do. So you know you are in trouble.
Nelson, you see, you are talking about protests organized by educated people.
Yes, organized
protests. During June 12th,
with people we
organized, because I worked directly with Hope 93 and the presidential candidate of SDP then. We did a lot of mobilization. Pascal Bafiao and the rest, the Kokori, we mobilized them, and we had demonstrations, not riots. Demonstrations, not riots. These are two different things. What these people are planning is nothing from the way you just said something that you don't even know these people.
Don't know them.
You have to, as a protester, you have to sit down and negotiate. If the negotiation fails, then you have all the rights to protest. This one, there is no negotiation. You just go online, sit in one room, put your camera phone in front of
Set
you
your ring light.
and read out nonsense and say you are demanding. What sort of demand is that? You have to come out, meet with government, and then sound whoever you are meeting with up. Is there any possibility of us achieving these aims? If there is hope, then you call off. You've had several times where you had to call off strikes. But these ones, they are not listening to anybody. They just want to go on a protest.
And bring the nation
and
down.
bring the nation down. That is the aim.
Okay.
And I can assure you that the security agencies are prepared. They have withdrawn the odd list of most top government. A friend called me last night. He had about 5 policemen. He's left with 1. So they've withdrawn
yes.
all
hands
of
must be on
them
deck.
so that they can ensure that there is peace in every part of the country.
Okay, time is fast spent now. I'd like you, just before we go, a word of advice each, from our gentlemen to our dear citizens, to our dear residents here in Lagos. Okay,
and to add to that, I see that this is also a mindset thing. So how do we begin to change the narrative of a man who doesn't even know what is going on, but he's just, we'll go and scatter the whole place. It's a mindset thing. So how do we also address that?
I think most importantly, I want to admonish our youths that they should not allow themselves to be misled. When issues come up, our youth should be rational and logical enough to interrogate it themselves. God has given them every facility within their self to interrogate issues and know their right from their left. This bandwagon that my friends are doing it, I must join. I think we need to take them out of that mentality of copy and paste. And to our fellow citizens, I want to admonish that we need a peaceful environment for us to be able to make whatever we want to make out of life. Today, a peaceful protest started in Sudan. We all know what Sudan has become now.
Kenya?
Yeah.
Kenya.
We saw Kenya, and we can see the level of destruction. We also have had our own share in 2020 and other times. So we admonish the so-called protesters, if eventually they are going on their protest, that is within their rights. But they must respect the laws of the land as well as the rights of other citizens.
You take, sir.
Yes, I want to advise the protesters to exercise their rights within the ambits of the law. Nobody is saying you can't protest, no. But violence should not be part of it. I don't know if they have a second home apart from Nigeria. If you have a second home, that is when you allow anybody to use you to destroy your home country. And so they should please, let's give the government a chance and see what comes out of this. Things are hard. It's not limited to Nigeria. If you destroy Nigeria today, which country will take you? You become a refugee when there is war. And you go there, you have nowhere to call home. You will be in the refugee camp. I pray it doesn't happen in Nigeria. They should please let's have some peace. They can demonstrate, they can protest, but they shouldn't be violent.
All right, thank you very much, Aliyu Mohammed Olurotimi, editor, Defunct Concord newspaper, and Nelson Ekujimi, executive director, Center for Social and Economic Rights. Thank you so much for joining us on the conversation today. The conversation continues right after this break. Stay with us.